As an Amazon seller, there are many other things besides just advertising that can eat up your profit if you are not careful. So in this video, I'm going to go through 5 main things that you need to look out for when you're selling on Amazon in terms of profitability. So hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We are all Amazon sellers, so let's talk about 5 main things that harm your profit. And we are talking about our business model in particularly selling on Amazon. So in this presentation, we will actually learn. In this presentation, you will learn 5 harmful things you need to be careful about. How are they harming your profit and how to mitigate them? So let's talk about profit. And the number one thing impacting is the biggest impact in terms of our results and in terms of our profitability and in terms of the bottom line. I mean, that's always going to be the opportunity cost. So those are going to be the lost sales. So Joe, I mean, what is stopping you from doing like $1 million last year? It's basically not doing those things that result into that $1 million. So on Amazon, it's so crystal clear that like when you have stock out periods, then you are losing those sales. So those sales are not coming to your pocket. And if ever any Amazon seller is telling you that they have never ever experienced stock out, then they are simply lying to you, or they have never sold on Amazon. Because I mean, sometimes on Amazon, it's hard to estimate the demand, and sometimes we just, for example, some product might take off and boom, there's immediately like 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times more sales than last week. So that means that we need to be able to handle our inventory and cash flow. So that means that when we have solid like supply chain in place, and then we are better equipped in dealing with it. So yeah, I mean, let's take a look at some numbers, like how can it actually impact us. So I mean, lost revenue. So let's say that we sell an average of 50 units per day and the profit is $19 per unit, and we have been out of stock for 10 days. Oops, we just nearly lost like almost 10K. And then additionally, expenses on the way can be these increased operational cost, air freight. I mean, because typically once we notice that, oh my God, I mean, the demand is going up and we are gonna soon go out of stock, then okay, we have some items, a bit of supply at the supplier or warehouse or whatever. So we need to quickly get it on to Amazon, and that means that we are going to be paying more for the expedited shipping delivery. So then we are going to be having those air freight, and then additionally, like let's say that it's not only 10 days, let's say it's like 1 month. 1 month of being out of stock. I mean, that can have really big impact in terms of selling on Amazon, because I mean, our rankings go down the drain and all that stuff. So because it's pretty long period, like 30 days. So that means that we are going to have to do a ranking campaign again. So then we are going to be having additional cost on there as well. And not to mention that, I mean, it actually, I don't know, I mean, who has experienced here that you have wanted to buy some product, some particular brand or whatever, and they are constantly out of stock. So you are unable to buy the product that you want to get. Who has ever experienced that? I know I do, and it doesn't, I mean, when that happens, do you feel good about the brand? Do you feel like, oh, well, I mean, they are probably having some supply chain issues, so it's not a big deal, right? The reality is that no, I mean, most people will be like, this is so annoying. Like, why can't they get their act together? And I can tell you like concrete example, because customers who don't get what they want from you will go to the competitors. They can also post negative reviews online about the brand and hurt the reputation, not necessarily on Amazon, but on other platforms, meaning that this product is constantly out of stock and it's my favorite brand and whatever. And and I can tell you a concrete example how stockout has negative impact on the brand. So who knows who here uses oat milk? So I personally prefer to use like the Finnish oat milks, but unfortunately in US we don't have any Finnish oat milk. At least in California, I have never seen. And most of the oat milk it's super overpriced, and so the best like value price actually is Oatly, so the Swedish brand. So I live in California and I'm forced to drink Swedish oat milk. But anyway, so I've been using it for years here, and they had a period. Actually, I don't remember when it started. It's already been several years, and they have also they have also like supplied oat milk not only to consumers like me, but also to companies like Starbucks. So Starbucks had been using Oatly oat milk in their coffee shops. So what happened a few years ago is that they experienced high demand, and they went completely out of stock, and they had they were not prepared for the demand, so they were pretty much like out of stock for longer periods, especially this like barista milk, which is their like oat milk to be used together with coffee. So I was pretty annoyed that I couldn't get it anymore at all. Like they used to have this home delivery, so you just get it at home. So they shut it down. But then you couldn't even find it from shops like from Whole Foods or whatever. And additionally, they were the main delivery of oat milk for Starbucks. So Starbucks said that, okay, guys, you cannot deliver us oat milk, so we are going to your competitor. So we don't want your milk anymore. Boom. Just imagine like when Oatly finally gets their act together and they have supply, then Starbucks already went to another competitor. They don't want it anymore. So that it creates this like reputational damage. Yeah. So what can we do on Amazon? Obviously we should like monitor the inventory levels and make sure that we have enough stock to meet the demand, especially during peak seasons or holidays. And there are plenty of different tools to do that. So like different inventory tools that help us determine when the restock inventory based on like historical sales data. And you cannot rely on just the Seller Central tool, because it's basically just measuring few weeks, maybe few months, but it doesn't understand seasonality. And it's fine to sell like seasonal products, and we do have some seasonal products as well, but then you need to be really careful so that you don't end up having like too much stock, and then that you don't run out of stock either. So it's what we have used for years and years is having these buffers, which means that we set aside a safety stock of products that you can use as a buffer in case of unexpected spikes in demand or then shipping delays. And the rule of thumb that we have been using is that we just tend to have like at least 2 months worth of sales. But yeah, overstocking, obviously we cannot do that on Amazon, because they will not only not only we are not making any sales, but we actually need to pay Amazon overcharge fees, so they are gonna be training us for profitability. So our not only are we not getting any sales, but we are actually losing profitability in terms of there as well, if we need to pay these long-term storage fees. Yeah, so stockouts can be a nightmare, but so is overstocking. So every month a product doesn't sell, it becomes less and less profitable due to incurring monthly storage fees. And it's not only about, I mean, of course, it can be a nightmare that if you have too much stock on Amazon. And it's not such a big deal if you have it like if freight forwarder is having your inventory or this supplier. But still, because I mean, what we usually do is that suppliers store our inventory, and we don't often like pay them anything for the storage, because I mean they are just it's not for longer periods. It's not going to be like 6 months. It's going to be that we just usually like hold it for a few months or whatever. But another issue with overstocking is that, I mean, this is money on hold. This is just cash. I mean, just imagine, you can just consider this image there. That, I mean, that's just a pile of cash just sitting there, but you cannot access it. So we have spent money on this, and it's just, when it's not moving around, then it's not gonna like make us money. So we invested into this, and we are not able to turn that investment into cash. So that's not good. And I actually remember, like, first time we did this inventory. I mean, the evaluation of how much money do we have in inventory. Like at that time, we had like hired this person who just goes through our finances and goes through inventory. And so I went through some of these like business training stuff, and I mean they gave this like specific thing how to calculate your formula, and then like I told my person to do that, and yeah, I mean I was shocked at the results. So I don't anymore remember like how much cash we had on all, but anyway, it was like millions. So it was something like, yeah, Tony, so I have the result here, and you're not gonna like it. So it's like, Tony, you know what? We have $2.5 million like stuck in inventory. Oh, great. Yeah. So no overstocking either. So monthly storage fees, yeah, that's not cool at all. And long-term storage fees, yeah. So it goes without saying that we don't want to keep our inventory on Amazon, because there are inventory limits. And if we have old inventory just sitting there, then we are not able to send new products. So that heavily restricts our ability in order to like launch new products. So I mean, if you have done the old school big bang approach and you launch a product that's not selling, it's just sitting there on Amazon. So I mean, why? I mean, now you cannot test out new products because Amazon doesn't allow you to send more inventory. So that sucks pretty much, right? And I would say this is something I always say, that one criteria or one like element that will like is in direct relation with your success in this business model is how quickly you take the idea to the marketplace. How quickly are you able to launch products? So if during a 1 year period, then you're able to launch one product, then I mean, your odds for success, I wouldn't bet on you. So if you want me to bet on you, then I mean, you have to be launching like multiple products. And if you follow our methods, I mean, if you do the test products, then I mean, it's not even going to cost you that much, because you could probably, there's basically two options. Like either you can spend the same amount of units, like thousands of dollars, into launching one product, with like hundreds of units, or you could take the same budget and then use it to launch bunch of test products, and additionally you will be able to do like the bigger bigger inventory once a product takes off. Because I mean, when you invest in product, it's not going to be all loss if you really do it the right way, if you do the research, because I mean you're actually going to be making money on those. But the point of these incremental test launches, that's not to make money. I mean, it's fine if we even lose money, as long as it gives us this valuable data, and as long as it is like taking us constantly forward to our goals. It makes sense. Okay, so it really depends on what you're selling, but sometimes you need to consider like expiration. So we also sell not really supplements, but they are perishable items. So yeah, I mean, we have had cases where the expiry date, I mean, it already went. So technically then, I mean, we are not allowed to sell it anymore. So basically, oops, if it goes beyond that expiration date, then if you don't sell it, then you need to take it out from Amazon. Yeah. So, I mean, keeping too much stock on hand can be risky for perishable and time-sensitive items, as they may expire or become obsolete before they can be sold. But if your product doesn't have these expiration dates, then that's not something you need to worry about. But of course, you should really optimize your like inventory investment anyway. So, I mean, just audit the inventory regularly. So this helps to refine what should be restocking most frequently and what products, processes, and other elements of inventory structure are contributing to an overstock issue. So that means that, like, I went through that business training and then learned that, hey, I mean, you should like audit the inventory. And I was, okay. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And first time doing this was not good news. But I mean, knowledge is power, information is power. So if there's an issue, I want to know about it so that I can actually fix the issue. Because not knowing what you don't know, I mean, that's the worst situation, right? Because if you don't know, then you're not even able to fix the issue. So, I mean, there's also this ABC analysis method, so which means that you have these categories that can help you use your storage space more efficiently and simplify the operation. So it's a simple prioritization method. So A means the items that have the highest priority. So this is basically your core. These are your core products. Because sometimes, I mean, when we are selling on Amazon, then I mean, some products take off, and some products might start like some products are just like dogs. They are not really taking off at all. So you shouldn't even spend that much effort into it. But then some products are also like rising stars, meaning that I mean, they show potential, but unused potential, I mean, it's worth nothing. So meaning that if you don't actually invest in these potential stars, then they don't have they will not become these like A products. So A products means the items that are the highest priority, then B is medium, and C is lowest priority. And I mean, it's basically the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. But the thing is that what often happens is that if we get some successful products and it's really taking off, it's doing good, then we move on to something else. We move on to launching products, and whoops, then maybe something goes a bit wrong on our like top product. Maybe they get a bit of bad reviews, maybe something else, maybe sessions I mean, advertising cost is going up, so maybe something has happened, or maybe the market changed it for quite a bit. So these top products, I mean, that's our core, so we need to protect them. So that means that we constantly monitor that the listing is in good shape, that we have, if there's any issues with the listing, we fix those. If there are any quality issues, we fix those. If there are any, we always make sure that we have inventory for those products, while also making sure that we are not running out of stock. So we started doing this very early, that we started ranking those products, that hey, these are our top products, these are the products that we have to protect, because it's like I forgot the name already, but there's this rule in also nature, like what you don't, which basically means that if you don't take care of something, it's gonna perish. Like every day, it's just gonna be getting like deteriorate and getting into like worse and worse condition. So that's why we need to take good care of our top items. But yeah, shipping handling costs. But I mean, this is something we, with our method, we always factor in the profit, meaning that your cost of goods sold, like when you analyze the product, I mean, this is something you already take into consideration. So I mean, it makes no sense if you just say that, like here is example, that okay, if you sell a $50 profit with profit margin of 20%, then okay, you're left with $10. But hey, I mean, shipping cost $10 per product, then you're down to zero. No. You don't want to end up in this situation, because all these calculations are already done when you're looking into that product opportunity and in the perfect product blueprint. And if I mean, it happens that shipping costs like fluctuate, because sometimes there's queues, sometimes I mean, the world market evolves, there's different things happening and so on. So, but all in all, it's not going to be it should not lead us to a negative profit, right? And we should have enough profit for advertising. Yeah. So that's something that we have to take into consideration. Then optimizing packaging. So if the packaging is oversized or inefficient, it can lead to higher shipping and handling cost. And so consider using smaller, more efficient packaging that still provides adequate protection for your products. And I can tell you a concrete example. So we had a product, it was doing really good. I mean, it was selling nicely, but it was it was in the oversized category. I mean, it was small oversized category, but still, I mean, it has much higher handling fees on Amazon than the lower tier category where we are targeting. And I remember, I mean, asking the supplier that, hey, can you pack it smaller? No. Okay, well, is there any way that we could pack it smaller? No. Okay. Then sometimes later, like, hey, like a month to 6 months, whatever later, hey, so are you sure that there's no option to pack it smaller? No, there's not. I mean, this probably happened for a year. We kept asking, like, can't we just pack it somehow smaller? No, you can't. No, you can't. Then we decided that, hey, guys, like, how about we actually, I mean, inside our company, together with them, what if we actually packed it this way? So, I mean, then it could go to the lower tier category. So then we asked the supplier, hey, can you package it this way? Yes, we can. So, I mean, why have you been telling us for a year that no, we cannot pack it smaller? And now you're saying that, yeah, it's not a problem at all. So there's basically two ways how to approach this. I mean, of course, we could I could be a big baby and say, "Oh, that supplier is so mean, and it's all their fault." So we have been losing like profits for a year already. Or, which I like to do is that I want to take like 100% responsibility of everything in my life. So is there something that I could have done in order to make this happen already a year ago? Of course. So if that's the case, then I cannot really blame anyone. So I take responsibility that, okay, fine, we are in this situation right now. So, I mean, just package it like this way from now on, and boom, our like profitability went higher, like pretty much overnight, because it went to the lower tier category inside of Amazon, which means lower Amazon fees. Yeah, and especially like when you're getting bigger volume, then definitely like consolidating the shipments, which means you just, instead of sending packages separately, you just make one container or whatever, and everything goes there. So I mean, this definitely has big impact on increasing profitability. And yeah, I mean, sea freight. So I mean, obviously it's like cheaper to ship by sea instead of air, but obviously it also takes longer time, and it can easily take like 2 months, and there are often a lot of unexpected delays, like oops, there's a strike in some country, or maybe it's in California or whatever, and oops, we just lost like 2 months there. And so that's why it shouldn't be, I mean, if this is our only way of shipping, then we are going to be, it's going to be a bit more challenging, but that doesn't mean that we should not do it. So yes, we should absolutely ship by sea. And if we have a good product opportunity that only works by sending sieves, then it just means that you have to do things better, so you don't run out of stock, or that you don't have too much stock either. So it's always about adapting to different scenarios. Returns, well, obviously, I mean, it will hurt our Amazon account and so on. And yeah, so we don't want to have too many returns, refunds, or stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, we will get 1-star reviews if the product gets damaged, it becomes defective. So that's not good either. And here it's also good to understand the customer service. Like if people, if a customer emails you on Amazon saying that, hey, I don't get this product, or I don't like this, or whatever, and if you're annoying, then they are going to they might leave you a 1-star review, and it's going to be a product review. It's not going to be even seller feedback. So that's why we have to also want to have good user experience, which also includes this what happens like after they have bought it, and what happens like when they receive the product in their hands, and what happens if they have any questions or they decide to contact us. Then what happens next? Yeah, buybacks. So obviously we want to get the 100% of the buybacks, and we always, I mean, one of the biggest things on Amazon is that you deliver something to the customer that does not match the product listing. So we have to make sure that everything there is accurate. And we already talked about customer service. And if you are hitting, and actually one thing is really important to do is that whenever you have issues with the product, I mean, any kind of, I mean, obviously with quality issues, but any kind of usability issues, any kind of unclear text, or if we get any kind of complaints about the product from the customers, and the customers are causing us pain, then what we immediately have to do is that we need to forward that pain to the supplier, so that the supplier feels the pain of the customers. So that has to be really like quick and direct, like feedback given the supplier, that they are able to like handle it. And yeah, I mean, sometimes there are like counterfeit, unauthorized sellers selling the product, but I mean, with brand registry and stuff like that, then usually they're not on your listing. So yeah, I mean, if someone is pretending to be us and then treats the customers poorly, then obviously it's going to impact us as well. Or if they're just selling them, and the way they can get the sale is that if they just do a race to the bottom. And yeah.
May I interrupt you a little bit? I have a question about this.
Yes.
Not the lower price, but the brand registry thing. Yeah. Anyways, we have one uninvited visitor in our listing selling something again, and we have ordered the item from the seller from China, but of course it's still unsent to us. How do you handle that kind of situation when somebody is going to sell in your listing, like your brand product? We have this brand registry, and we don't know what the product is because we haven't ever got the product from the seller. They have canceled the orders, etc. I think they have pinpointed that we are the brand owners, so we don't know what it is. So we have just kicked them out there, or?
Yeah, I mean, the old school way before brand registry was to do this, I mean, order that and file this A to Z claim. But I mean, you don't need to do that when you have brand registry, because then you can just file a counterfeit claim to Amazon saying that this listing, this seller here is selling this like counterfeit item. So they will just, Amazon will then take a look and remove it from the listing.
Yeah, what they are looking, I mean, if they are, if they have copied the product and logos and everything just like 100%.
Yeah, but then they are violating your IP. They are violating your trademark. So, and Amazon takes it very seriously. I mean, trademarks and intellectual property rights. Right.
Yeah.
So with brand registry, it's much easier to get these hijackers like kicked off your listing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
There's basically this one page or one form which you fill and just send it over to Amazon, and then they will deal with it.
Yeah. No questions asked and so on. I mean, for the fake seller, that no discussions with the seller. We just file the A to Z.
No. Just, I mean, it's not an A to Z claim, because A to Z claim means that the product that you as a customer have ordered does not match the listing or whatever. But here, it's about protecting your intellectual property rights, meaning that they are selling something that is not that I mean violates your trademark. That's the case.
Yeah.
So then there's this form inside of Amazon, inside of like Seller Central, where you just make the claim, and it creates a case on Amazon, and they will take a look. Yeah. So one actually, it states also in the rules of these intellectual property, like trademarks and so on, that when you have a trademark, when you're given a trademark, you have to protect it. Because if you are not protecting it, then you are not doing your job, and then they could basically say that you're not. I mean, it's our like legal responsibility to take care of the trademark as well, which means that if someone is violating, we have to act on it. That's pretty much how it works, at least in the US. Probably it's the same in Europe, I would assume. Okay, yes, so we want to have trademark at least, patents. Well, I mean, if you have something unique going on, but most often that's not the case. So, I mean, yeah, that's the tool. So you use these brand protection tools to file these claims. And also, like when you have this brand, I mean, like we have discussed on Slack, like nowadays you can, I mean, just use this IP accelerator program and you can get your access to brand registry like already in a matter of weeks. And okay, if you get into some complex legal issues, then lawyers come at hand.
If you like this topic, then hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to get more tips regarding selling on Amazon, then feel free to reach out to me and let's have a chat. See you soon.